In just a few hours, I'll be lying on an operating table, and there's a 20% chance I won't make it out alive. I'm only 14, but I've been dealing with a bone disease called multiple hereditary exostoses, or MHE, for as long as I can remember. It's a condition that causes benign bone tumors to grow all over my body. These tumors are not cancerous, but they're extremely painful, especially when they're near a nerve. I've got tumors growing in my knees, fingers, and ribs, which is a recipe for disaster. There are a lot of nerves and muscles in these areas that can get pinched and pierced, causing me a lot of agony. I'm constantly in level 5 pain, which is pretty intense. I can only walk for up to 2 minutes without needing to rest, and even simple tasks like writing are impossible for me. The pain is always there, lurking in the background, waiting to pounce. My doctors have decided that surgery is the best option to try and alleviate some of this pain. They're going to remove some of the tumors in my knee, which should help me walk again. They'll also be removing 2 of my ribs, which have cracked due to the tumors, and replacing them with metal. It's a complicated procedure, and there are no guarantees it'll work. But I'm not really worried about the outcome. If the surgery is successful, that's great. I'll be able to walk again. If it fails, I've learned to adapt to my condition, and I can handle whatever comes my way. And if I die, well, at least the pain will be over. My friends think I'm crazy for not being scared, but I just don't see the point in worrying about something that's outside of my control. I'm not suicidal, but I've just accepted that this is my reality. In a few hours, I'll be on the operating table, and my fate will be decided. It's a strange feeling, knowing that my life is essentially in the hands of my surgeons. But I'm ready for whatever happens next. I'm ready to face whatever challenges come my way, and I'm ready to see what the future holds. And as I lay here, waiting for the clock to tick down, I'm filled with a sense of calm, a sense of acceptance. I know that whatever happens, I'll be okay. And with that thought, I'm at peace. I might die in 7 hours, but I'm not afraid because I know that I've lived, and I've lived on my own terms. Life is precious, but it's also fragile, and it can be taken away in an instant. So, I'll cherish every moment, and I'll make the most of the time I have left. And as the clock ticks down, I'll be ready to face whatever comes next, with courage, with strength, and with a heart that's full of life. I posted a question on Reddit that was taken completely out of context, and now my inbox is flooded with over 600 responses today. I had been looking forward to the qualifying for the Formula One this weekend, and was browsing Reddit whilst also watching some older Formula One footage on YouTube. So it got me wondering, some of these races used to really get me super excited for them. Now, they're just boring and far too controlled. So I posed the question to /r/Formula One to ask their opinions also. Shortly after posting, it transpired that the way I had asked the question could be perceived as that a little Hitlerish. Check out the link below, smash that subscribe. It somehow grabbed the attention of many people and managed to get a number 1 of /r/all, and now my inbox is broken. Unfortunately for me, I am very anally retentive with things such as emails, texts, etc. that I must open every single one. It would actually play on my mind so badly that I wouldn't be able to sleep if I didn't open them. So I must open and read every goddamn comment. Probably the worst thing to have to feel the need to do if you plan on making it to the front page. I thought it was slowing down because it got to a point where I was reading messages faster than they were coming and the number of notifications was going down. But then, everything changed when the FireNet USA woke up, and I've been playing catch-up ever since. Took an opportunity to make this post since the message count was less than 100. Let's see what I go back to now. Link, https://formula1/comments/bncq/if_you_could_race_within_the_year Thank you for the gildings you're all giving me. It's rather overwhelming. The original post has now made it to be number 1 post of all time in /r/Formula 1 somehow. As of 19:42 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, I still have over 600 responses to read through. I will be reading them all, but I won't necessarily be responding to them all. I'm really glad that I could make a lot of you smile and laugh today. That wasn't the original intention, but it's a great positive to take away from this experience. Edit 2. Update. At around 20:20 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, I opened up Alien Blue on my iPad to read these comments faster than on the official Reddit app, and when I started from there, I had 934 unread messages. 20 minutes later, reading the messages and making some replies, I now have 976 unread messages. Straight face. Edit 3. Update. It's now 21:09 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. I did have my inbox down to about 900 at one point, but now it's back up in the 4 digits. I am seriously sleep deprived right now. I have been awake since 1600 hours p.m. yesterday, being unable to sleep due to coughing fits. Finally, they've subsided, and I'm feeling really tired now, so I shall pick up reading and responding tomorrow. Good night to you all. Very bizarre experience today. I honestly didn't think this Tfu post would blow up like my first post, but it seems to have done so much faster and on a much larger scale. Edit 4. Finally, I'm able to read the comments and messages faster than they're coming in. Back down under 1,000 left to go now, and it's been a truly interesting experience. I didn't realize how quickly and openly people would comment something racist. I also didn't expect some of the truly deplorable messages I have received, but thankfully they have been in the minority. It's 6 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time here, so time to soldier on until the end of the inbox. Edit 5. Final edit. I'm now up to date with all my inbox now, 10:17 a.m. It's been great to see this happen, and I'm sorry to those who thought Reddit was accepting casual racism for a brief moment. TLDR, made a post asking a question, worded it wrong, and now everyone thinks I'm a racist bastard.
I gave my son permission to beat up his bully, and here's what happened. My son was born with a condition called Pectus Excavatum. In layman's terms, his chest is sunken in. His condition was so bad that he only had 2.5 inches between his sternum and his spine, and his heart and lungs were bruised because of it. In December, he had surgery to correct it, and they put 2 nickel bars in his chest to give it space and train his bones to grow correctly. About 3 weeks after his surgery, a kid punched him and dislodged the top bar, and he had to have another surgery to put the bar back in place. The kid has been through a lot. Well, the doctor cleared him for most activity last week, just no skateboarding or bike riding, but he could now lift his backpack and go hang out with friends and play pickup, non-contact sports. Unbeknownst to me, a kid in his class had been bullying him all semester. And because my son was afraid of getting hit again, he just took it. Well, the evening he was cleared, he came to me and said, "Dad, I'm cleared now. A kid has been bullying me and hitting me for months. Can I kick his ass?" Well, my son isn't really a fighter. He's fought with his brothers but never anyone else, and he's always gotten his ass kicked. So I just figured he was just talking. But this is the first I had heard about the bullying, and I was concerned. I could tell he was distressed about the situation, so I told him to knock the fucker out. He just nodded and went to his room. Now, his older brother is tough SOB. He had a traumatic brain injury 2 years ago, and he missed a year of school, so he's in the same grade and coincidentally takes the same class. I talked to him about it and told him to handle it but don't get in trouble. He told me that the kid walks in every day and punches my son in the head. I asked him why he allowed that to happen, and he said he wanted his brother to get tough, and once he was tired of getting hit, he would do something about it. While I kinda agree with his thinking, I instructed him to handle it without getting in trouble. The next morning I took them both to school, then drove back home to get my younger daughter, who goes to a different school that starts later. On the way to take her to school, my wife calls me. "Have you taken XXXXX to school yet?" "Well, after you do, go pick up your son. He got in a fight." I just assumed it was my oldest son. Imagine my surprise when I walked into the school office to see my younger son with a grin from ear to ear. He was beaming. He pointed to another kid sitting in a chair holding an ice pack on his face. I warned him. I was so proud. He had walked into class, sat down, and the kid popped him in the head like always. My older son got up to intervene, and before he could, my son decked the kid with one punch. He said the kid was bawling on the floor and that it was the best day of his life. He got suspended for 3 days. TLDR, I gave my son permission to beat up his bully because I didn't think he would, and he did it. Edit 1. The kid who punched my son in the chest was one of his friends. It wasn't malicious. Just 2 boys clowning around. He was horrified that he had hurt my son. The bully punched my son in the head every day. Once he found out my son couldn't do anything about it, he just kept on. My son wasn't the only one he bullied either. Also, the bully's brother came to my son later and told him that he had warned him once my son could fight, that he was going to get his ass kicked. Edit 2. My son has some social anxiety, and since the fight he has made a lot of new friends. He used to hate going to school, but now he's disappointed that school is out for summer. Crazy. Edit 3. Thanks for the precious medals. And holy shit. Front page?